The moors had always been a place of whispered secrets, where the wind sang laments of lost souls and the mists clung to the earth like lingering spirits. It was upon this desolate expanse that the silhouette of Grimsleigh Hall cast its long shadow under the moon's melancholy glow. The tale of Grimsleigh Hall was as old as the moors themselves, intertwined with stories of the Wraith of the moors, a specter said to wander the heath under the full moon, mourning an eternal loss with cries that curdled the blood of any who heard them. It was to Grimsleigh Hall that Edmund Rookwood returned, a scholar with a fascination for the macabre and the mournful story of his ancestral home. Edmund had been abroad when he received word of his elder brother's untimely demise, a death as mysterious as the moors themselves. As he crossed the threshold, Edmund felt the familiar chill of the ancient stones, heard the echo of his footsteps in the halls that had grown silent with mourning. The servants whispered of the curse that had befallen the head of the Rookwood family. A curse now fell to Edmund to unravel. His first night at Grimsleigh, as the full moon bathed the moors in its spectral light, Edmund heard it, the desolate cry of the Wraith. The sound cut through the stillness, a harbinger of doom that left no room for doubt. The tales were true. Compelled by a mix of dread and resolve, Edmund ventured out onto the moonlit moors. The ground beneath his feet was an unyielding tapestry of heather and bracken, and the night was alive with the whispers of the unseen. There, amidst the undulating landscape, he saw her, the Wraith. She was a figure of ethereal beauty, her gown flowing in an unfelt breeze, her hair a cascade of silver that reflected the moon's pallor. Her face, though sorrowful, bore a resemblance so uncanny to the Rookwood line that Edmund's heart quickened with recognition. She did not speak, but her eyes, a stormy gray that matched the tumultuous skies of the moors, beckoned him to follow. Edmund did, through the winding mists and whispering heather, to a forgotten corner of the moors, where stood a circle of ancient stones, their origin lost to time. The Wraith pointed to the center of the stone circle, where the earth was disturbed. Edmund, working with a frantic urgency, began to dig with his bare hands until his fingers brushed against the cool surface of a locket. It was a Rookwood heirloom, one that held a miniature portrait of a woman, the very image of the Wraith before him. As Edmund opened the locket, the Wraith began to weep, her tears crystalline drops that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. Her sorrow was a tangible thing, wrapping around Edmund in a cold embrace. The Wraith's voice, when it came, was a whisper that melded with the wind. "I am Morna," she confided, "betrothed to a Rookwood who went to war and fell in a distant land. They told me he died without issue, but the truth was hidden. I carry the true heir of Grimsleigh in my shade, a lineage unacknowledged, a love forsaken." Edmund understood then. The mourning on the moors was Morna's search for her child, the rightful heir to Grimsleigh, denied by the cruel hands of fate and the machinations of those who coveted the Rookwood legacy. As the realization settled upon him, Edmund felt the very fabric of the moors shift. The circle of stones pulsed with an ancient power, and the wind carried voices from across the ages, speaking of justice and restitution. Morna's spectral hand reached for Edmund, and as her fingers touched, a flood of memories filled his mind, visions of his brother, driven mad by the secret he bore, of Morna's despair, and of Edmund's own lineage, tainted by the lie that had birthed the curse. With a heart heavy with newfound knowledge, Edmund knew what he must do. He vowed to Morna that he would right the wrongs of the past, that her mourning would turn to joy, and the heir of Grimsleigh would be known. The vow was a seal, a pact that bound Edmund to the Wraith and the moors. The stones thrummed with energy as Edmund recited the oath of his ancestors. an oath of truth and honor that had long been forsaken. Morna's form brightened, the very essence of the moors coalescing around her. "With your promise, the curse lifts," she whispered. "Our child's line shall endure." As the words left her lips, the first light of dawn touched the horizon. The stone's glow dimmed, and Morna's apparition slowly faded with the night, her final cry a song of release that echoed across the moors. Edmund stood alone as the sun rose, the locket clenched in his fist, and Morna's final words etched in his heart. He turned back to Grimsleigh Hall, the manor awakening to a new era, freed from the shadows of deceit. In the years that followed, Grimsleigh Hall shed its aura of gloom. The moors, once a place of moonlit mourning, became a testament to a love that had transcended death. Edmund, as the new head of the Rookwood family, honored Morna's memory and the child she bore, ensuring their lineage was recognized. The cries of the Wraith were heard no more, replaced by the songs of larks and the laughter of children who played in the heather. And while the villagers still spoke of the Wraith of the moors, it was with a reverence for the peace that had fallen over Grimsleigh Hall under the guardianship of Edmund Rookwood, the man who had walked with a ghost and mended the broken strands of his family history.